Welcome to Zen and the Art of Homeschooling. I'm Ollie Malley,
And I'm Michael Malley.
and today we're going to talk about dealing with schools. We've been hearing from a lot of parents about kids having different reactions to all of this distance learning and schooling at home. And some kids are thriving on it, but many kids are struggling with dealing with what the schools are giving them. And then parents are struggling with dealing with their kids. So when you're thinking about what the schools are giving you, uh, one thing that we invite you to do is to ask yourself, what is beneficial for my child and what's coming to them? What is reasonable for my child to be doing and what is doable? So if you think about those three things, and how is your child reacting? The schools and the school system are trying to educate all the children. And your child's teacher or teachers are dealing with their one class. And they're not thinking about your individual child. And so that's what you get to do now that your child is at home, that you get to think about what's going to be best for them. So one of the things we want to do is just give you permission. Permission to take some of what the school gives you, but you don't have to take it all. You know your child. And you're going to get to know your child better through doing all these learning activities with them. And it's exciting and it's fun and it's okay. And it's okay that during the next 3 to 6 months, they get less math or less science. That really is okay because they're going to be getting so many other things. And so that is our message to you, that there's so much learning that's going to happen, and just to relax about it and to have fun with it and to enjoy as much you can this time together and figure out what works for your family.
And one of the things that popped into my head when I heard this was thinking of a friend of ours, another homeschool family, friends of ours, and the dad, who was a stay-at-home dad, the primary homeschool parent. His son was in regular school from kindergarten through second grade, and then in second grade they decided to start homeschooling. And he said he realized something when they started that, something that he hadn't realized before, that when they sent their son off to kindergarten, that 5-year-old little boy, they were handing over so much to the schools. They were actually letting go of so much of their own agency as parents, as educators, and giving it to the school system. And that's part of what we do when we send our kids to school. I mean, our eldest daughter went kindergarten through 12th grade to public schools. You hand that away. Well, what's happening here is things are coming back toward us, and we're feeling kind of overwhelmed in terms of how do we deal with that? How do we take it? And part of our message to you is that, look, you are the educator of your child. And yes, those teachers and principals, they have some educational expertise in certain areas, etc. But you can do so much to help your child, and not just with academics, but with a whole integrated person. Yeah.
Right. You know your child.
We want to encourage you that you have agency, that you can adapt things to make them befitting for you, your family, your circumstances.
Right.
Yeah.
And to think about, many of you are going to have 2 full-time working parents, and you're working from home, and you have your kids there. And so, how do you balance all that? Well, one of the things is that you are going to have to give some time to this. Just like Michael said, that all that agency you gave over to the school, some of that is coming back on you, and the kids are there all day. So, what's a reasonable time that you need to spend with them? And I would, it's going to vary, but about 3 hours, I would think, in your day should be spent thinking about and helping and working with your child in some kind of education. And we don't, and that is not just sitting down doing math, doing cursive with them. That is thinking broader in terms of education. It is reading with your child. It is if you spent 2 hours cooking dinner with your child,
Hmm.
that can be considered part of their school. So it's thinking a little more broadly to what school is and what you're doing, but also thinking that I do need to spend some time here with this.
Hmm.
Because if you just give it all over to the kid on the computer, some kids will do fine with that, but many kids, if they're in front of the computer for so many hours a day, are gonna struggle with that. And there's so much joy in doing
Yeah.
some other things with your
Yeah.
kids that
Yeah.
we're hoping that you can really have fun with this,
Yeah.
and see the potential for all sorts of learning together. You
Yeah.
could be learning skills together. You could be gardening together. You could be cooking together. You can be doing games together and reading together. All the opportunities for all sorts of family time combined with the school time. So especially when you have the work that you have to do, you might have to be a little more creative with when you do the school time. It doesn't have to happen between 9 and 3. You've got all day there with your kids. It could be before, it could be after. It could be taking breaks that you need to do a meeting now, and so the kids have to be sitting someplace and quiet while you're doing the meeting. But then after that meeting, maybe you do something else with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're really talking about that family time and school time as kind of being melded together, right? So that 2 to 3 hours, that could be, as Ollie said, maybe it's working on the meal together. Maybe it's, getting out in the yard and, planting the garden together. Maybe it's sitting down to watch a quality documentary and then talking about it. That could be part of it. And okay, sometime let's work on that math stuff that you're having some trouble with. That can be part of that too. She mentioned reading together with our 13-year-old son. He and I are just finishing reading Dune together, and we're about to start in the second book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Two Towers. We'll probably be starting that one tomorrow. With him, he reads a page and then I read a page, or he reads a chapter and then I read a chapter. With a younger kiddo, you're reading to them, right? Cuddling up under the blankets. This does not have to be drudgery. It should not be drudgery. The idea is
Right.
joy, right? This is a difficult time, right? I mean, we have friends who are seriously ill. People are dying. I mean, it's a rough time. But there's also within all of that, there's also strangely these incredible opportunities for more connection as a family with our kiddos, and to learn and connect in new ways. And so we want to encourage you. You have agency, just like our friend. Uh, it took him a little while to say, wait a minute, I can do this. I'm not trained as an educator, but this is my kid. I can figure out what's going to help him. And part of it is that figuring out, right? Like look at the end of each week. Mm, we should have done a little more of this, or there should have been a little less of that. He was really in front of the screen a lot this week, or geez, he didn't do any much math at all this last week. And make adjustments, right? Wait, we didn't get outside. Let's get outside. Make adjustments, and that's part of the work too. That's part of the dance. We wish you well in this ongoing work. Enjoy. Try not to make it drudgery. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun.
Okay, we'll see you again another day.